All right, we are going to be discussing 3-1 Michigan Center, traveling to 4-0 Addison. Not sure how many people thought we'd still be saying that about Addison at this time, but some people definitely expected that we'd be thinking Michigan Center would be pretty good right about now. Coming into the season, they were returning a lot of guys and knew they would have some depth, and that's really showed early on, especially on the defensive side of the ball, giving up 23 points just early this year. But there's no doubt Addison has been the surprise team of the Cascades Conference. 4-0 thus far and doing pretty much all of their work on the ground, outscoring their opponents 205-68. That's an average of about 51-17 per game. I mean, they've just been manhandling their opponents, and it started putting up 79 points in that Week 1 win at Dearborn Heights Star, or against Dearborn Heights Star. But, I mean, the offense has been consistent all year long, 79, 36, 58, 32. And last week's win against Napoleon was arguably the most impressive, when the running backs really still kept it going. Dakota Kniper, Hunter Dart, both really, showing that they can still run the ball on the ground, even against a more superior defense. Rushing has sort of been Michigan Center's MO this year as well, getting a lot of their groundwork done with Brady Rowe, who was the leader early on this season. But they've sort of spread the ball around, and they've really been relying on Jake Nichols, the quarterback, to sort of make those decisions on who is going to see what type of action. He's definitely found some favorites in the passing game: Rayfield Johnson, Hunter Horsch, a few of them. But if Dawson Doring can come back for this game, the wide receiver, arguably one of the fastest guys in the entire conference, who has been missing for the first month of the season, nursing a leg injury. He was cleared a little over a week ago, and the hope is for Troy Allen that he can return. Someone who will not be back, however, is Boomer Perry, and that proved to be a pretty big loss against Napoleon, losing the starting center and middle linebacker of this Michigan Center team. But like we said before, Michigan Center has depth and they have talent. Troy Allen really has his bunch ready, and they've showed up for every game. They've looked very impressive in their win against East Jackson, although it wasn't too difficult of a task. 62-0 is nice. Their second shutout of the season. They also shut out Hanover Horton in Week 2. And it's really all about this defense, even without Boomer Perry. Giving up 23 points in 4 weeks is really impressive. But they have not seen an attack quite as potent as this Addison team. Even Napoleon doesn't have quite this offensive attack that Addison has shown it's had. And it's really just the wing T, which Michigan Center has shown it can slow down at Climax Scott's Week 1. But Addison has run it nearly to perfection this year. Quarterback Donovan Underwood really getting things going, and he's letting Hunter Hart. He's making a lot of good reads, whether that's keep it, get it to Hunter Dart, or throwing it deep to Caden Heckerman, or handing it off to Dakota Kniper, or throwing it deep to Garrett Bernath, who you see here corralling a pretty deep touchdown pass against Napoleon. And so, really just kudos to Josh Lindemann, to this Addison offense, for sticking with an attack that wasn't terribly successful the last few years, but Lindemann knew, fourth, fifth year coming in, now everyone from freshman on up have been running this offense pretty much exclusively with him. So that's going to be a big factor in this season, and it has been. And Addison, 4-0, Michigan Center 3-1. This is a big one, not just for these two, but for the entire Cascades Conference, because if Addison wins, they will go to 5-0. Michigan Center will fall to 3-2. I also predicted Napoleon to beat Hanover Horton, and if that can hold true, Addison would be 5-0 with Napoleon, Hanover Horton, and Michigan Center, all 3-2, having a 2-game lead on each of those teams with just 4 games remaining, more than halfway through the season. So my keys for Michigan Center, it's going to be somehow stopping this Addison rushing attack that has been dominant this year. Averaging more than 350 yards per game on the ground, mixing it around. Any number of guys can beat you on this Addison team. And so Michigan Center, you got to make Addison throw it. You have to pin your ears back. But Addison showed that if you get too eager, Donovan Underwood can go over the top to Garrett Bernath or Caden Heckman and make you pay. So it's sort of pick your poison there. As for Michigan center, someone has to figure out how to run on this Addison team. Addison has given up just 80 rushing yards in 4 games. I mean, think about that. 20 yards per game. That's 5 yards per quarter. It's been one of the most stout rushing defenses in the area. Hanover Horton might have something to say about that. But Addison has really made teams beat them with their arm and not their legs. And I think it's going to be on Jake Nichols to win this one for Michigan center. And he has the talent. He has the moxie. I just think Addison really has something going here. At home, playing in the biggest game since arguably 2009, which was the last time they made the postseason. 2010 was the last time they won 5 games in a year. I'm rolling with Addison. Addison takes this one, 28-17.